Finding where a function is increasing, decreasing, or constant given the graph, interval notation. This is in the Graphs and Functions pie slice of ALEKS. It says determine the interval or intervals on which the function is strictly increasing. Notice strictly, that's going to help us determine where we're talking about. It says write your answer in interval notation or as an interval or a list of intervals, meaning that we are going to either use a set of brackets, a set of parentheses, or some combination of the two, and then have values separated by commas. If there are more than one interval, we will separate those intervals by commas. Note that brackets mean that we are including the numbers that we write here and here. And if we have parentheses, that means that we are excluding those numbers here and here. If there are no intervals where the function is strictly increasing, we're going to click None. At first glance, though, of this graph, we can tell that from left to right, and remember that's how we read graphs, from left to right, in this interval, it remains constant. It is neither increasing nor decreasing. In this interval, it's increasing from left to right. In this interval, it's again constant. In this interval, it's decreasing. And in this interval, it's again increasing from left to right. So we have two intervals, which means that at some point we're going to need to separate those intervals with a comma. So we're going to have two intervals. Our first interval from left to right goes from -4 all the way to -1. Now, because it says strictly increasing, that means that we can't include the actual points where they start and stop. So if we want to exclude those points, we're going to use parentheses. We will go from left to right, so again, the interval starts at -4 and goes to -1. We don't want to include those points, so we're going to put parentheses around that interval. We have a second interval that it's also increasing. This interval starts at +2 and ends at +6. Again, we want to exclude those points, so we start it at 2 with our parentheses. We put a comma, and then we end it at 6 and close our parentheses.